So, I told you in a recent video that it's firewood season. We're gonna speed that up a lot this year by actually having this machine do it for us. It's going to a neighbor, and we have a bunch of birch trees that are at a bad spot and keeping other forests from growing, so that machine is going to cut that down for us. Is that cool? Yeah. Big machine. So you know the 30 or 40 cubic yards of firewood that we would have needed to cut down by hand. Now this machine is going to do that. We've had stretch of forest back there that when we moved here, the windstorms took a lot of the stuff down. We managed the forest completely different now, and so it's just keep, you know, the windstorms just keep eating further and further into the existing forest there. And there are a bunch of birch trees that have they're just, you know, very few branches on the top. They're like a long stick, and we're gonna remove those. They're perfect for firewood. And then they're gonna, you know, enable the young forest, the new generation that's coming underneath, to grow much better. So this machine is what we would call a fully automated harvester. It cuts the wood, it trims the branches, and then it cuts it all into the right length. When you have trees downed by wind, because the roots come up with it and drop, you know, sand and all that stuff on the end, the beginning of the tree, usually you have lumberjacks go there and manually cut off the roots from the tree, so that the machine just has to grab them so they don't get their chain dull. Scientists from Denmark came out with a study that shows that kids who grow up on the farms and in nature with less concrete around, they are much healthier and have a much better mental health towards the end of their lifespan even. Really cool. This part of Sweden where we live, we have like these huge boulders all throughout our forests. The log ox, really awesome tool. So the ground is fairly dry right now, plus it's frozen, so the forest machine driving out the wood will not do much damage in the forest. We'll have our firewood here on the pile in a couple days. there was a bunch of trees that had blown over by the wind. He had to cut down a couple other trees that were in the way. But let me just show you how it looks when that machine is done. All the branches lay on one spot, and all the logs lay on the other spot here. And so here you can see that the machine doesn't damage too much either right now. It's mainly when they drive out the wood that they damage stuff. Here's a pile for me to chip, and here's the firewood, which means that this goes a little bit faster than doing this with your chainsaw. Even though, and I have to add this would be the perfect kind of wood to cut down with your chainsaw, because there are not many branches. But I mean, we cannot compete with this machine right now, especially since they were at the neighbor's farm. We could just hire them real quick. I do not take it lightly to cut down trees. Trees are living beings, and you know, if we don't take care of our nature, of creation the right way, then you know, we will just have short-term gain for some people, but long-term loss. And we still love to work with firewood on our farm because it is a renewable resource. And look right here behind me. Here you have what nature does by itself. It fills in with trees because we don't put our cows or sheep or whatever right here. And this is all naturally coming here. And now by us coming in here and managing this with a little bit of disturbance and just planning, we will make this a very productive forest that will sequester significantly more carbon than if we would just leave it up to itself. So while we don't take it lightly to cut down a tree, and trees are truly beautiful and majestic, we are for managing and for doing it the right way. And it's an amazing resource that people have used over thousands of years to heat their homes, to use for cooking, and you know, we have so many benefits of it. The branches for wood chips, the lumber, you know, for building. We have the sawmill, the firewood to heat the house. It's just really amazing. So this is something where we definitely will have to go through very soon and separate a little bit so that they don't grow up too close. And you see all behind us, we have to do all of this. And we will naturally go with the trees and varieties of trees that, you know, that nature has put here. So you have a few pine trees, you have a few or a bunch of spruce trees here, a bunch of birch trees or aspen, and we will, you know, choose the right kind of trees and have the next generation forest grow up here for our children to enjoy. So here behind me you can see what these big forest machines do, what kind of damage they do when they come in somewhere when it's not frozen in the ground and when it's wet, and when they load up these machines with tons and tons of wood. And you know, they dig deep into the ground and they mess up a lot of things. And you know, this is from before we moved to the farm, and these things, they will be here, you know, centuries. So there are times where you can put the machines in here and let them in here, but at the wrong time, this is what happens. I hope you found this video interesting. Forestry is really an important part of homesteading to me because of firewood and wood chips and all of that. Hunting wild berries in the woods, really awesome. I love that. And if you're looking into buying a homestead or starting, you should really sit down and think about what it is you want, what it is you need, and plan this so that both you will be fulfilled, but also so your needs will be fulfilled. You have the resources for it. Anyway, guys, subscribe if you haven't done so. Check out our channel on Instagram and Facebook, and stay tuned. I will see you soon. We're working on exciting stuff for you guys. Bye bye.